from the creation, where all the rest of humanity had the corrupted DNA. None of them had salvation or an opportunity for it. They all had to die. So this is the mind of the God that we worship and we serve. So be clear on who the heck, we're talking God this and God that a lot of the time. Be sure who you have an understanding of who you're addressing here. You see how these people are using their words and their presumptions. So let's continue on with Elihu's rebuttal. Okay, Elihu 36:1. Wait for me a little, and I will show you there is yet more to said on God's behalf. So you see, he's speaking on God's behalf here. He's speaking, claiming to speak for the Almighty. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. I will ascribe righteousness to my Maker. Truly my words are not false. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. Okay. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. Is he talking about himself there? Because that's who's with him. Behold, God is mighty, but does not despise any. Oh, he said he hated Esau. People try to present that. I said, no, that only means he loved Esau less. Well, that word Sarah doesn't mean loved less. It means he hated. He does not keep the wicked alive, but gives justice to the afflicted. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous, but with kings on the earth he seated them forever. Really? No, he hasn't. There's no divine right of kings. They're removed often. Saul certainly was the first one put on the throne of Israel. He didn't seat him forever. No, see, now we're going into a divine right of kings. All the stuff that Elihu was saying has got a twist and a kink to it, and you have to be able to recognize that. Or, repeatedly, people say, no, Elihu, that's actually God speaking. Well, I disagree, and it's not. And I think you'll see that shortly. Okay, they are caught up in the cords of affliction. He declares to them their work and their transgression, that they have magnified themselves. He opened their ear to instruction, the commands that they are to return from evil. If they hear and serve them, they will still enter their days in prosperity, their years with pleasure. If they do not hear, they will perish by the sword. They will die without knowledge. The godless in heart lay up anger. They do not cry for help, and he binds them. They die in their youth. Their life perishes among the cult prostitutes. He delivers the afflicted in their affliction, opens the ear in time of oppression. Indeed, he enticed you with the mouth of distress. Instead of it, a broad place with no constraint, which was set on your table, was full of fatness. But you were full of judgment on the wicked. So we're constantly condemning the wicked, and instead of praying for them, that's our job. Justice and judgment will take hold of you. Beware lest wrath entice you to scoffing. Do not let the greatness of the ransom turn you aside. Let your witches keep you from distress, or all the forces of your strength. I think we can drop down a bit from that, but you can just read all of what Eliyahu says at your leisure, and then read the last few chapters and see how the context flows with that. We'll just go, I think, from 29 here. Can anyone understand the spreading of the clouds, the thundering of his pavilion? Behold, he spreads his lightning about him. He covers the depths of the sea. See, now he's giving his lecture on the whole of creation and how it works, everything about it. By these he judges his people, gives food in abundance, covers his hands with lightning, commands it to strike the mark. Its noise declares his presence. And there's actually a calendar that was discovered. I think they found it in what was brought up there in the 40s and 50s, an ancient calendar that the actual holy days are governed by when you're reading it if thunder sounds. This is what he's talking about here. Its noise declares his presence, the cattle also, concerning what is coming up. Okay, verse 37. My heart trembles, leaps from its place, listens closely to the thunder of his voice. The rumbling goes forth from his mouth. Under the whole of heaven he lets it loose. See, now he's putting God into his creation. So you have the God of the heavens and the God of mountains, gods of rivers, gods of trees. His lightning to the ends of the earth. After it a voice roars. He thunders with his majestic voice. He does not restrain the lightnings when his voice is heard. Oh, really? God thunders with his voice wondrously, doing great things which we cannot comprehend. To the noise snow, he says, fall on the earth, the downpour and the rain be strong. He seals the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. The beast goes into its lair. It just goes on and on and on, talking about the world and the earth, meaning not world, but earth, and everything that is in it, and all the inhabitants of it, on and on. So, verse 14, listen to this, O Job. Stand and consider the wonders of God. Do you know how God establishes them? What makes lightning to shine? Do you know the layers of the thick clouds, the wonders of one perfect in knowledge, whose garments are hot, when the land is still because of the south wind? Can you with him spread out the skies, strong as a molten mirror? Teach us what he must say. We cannot arrange our case because of the darkness. How shall it be told him what I should speak? Should a man say that he would be swallowed up, and now men do not see the light and the brightness of the skies, the wind has passed and cleared them. Out of the north comes a golden splendor around God in his awesome majesty. So you see, he's making this God animistic, putting God into his creation. Well, his creation is wonderful and is majestic, but God isn't in it. He created it, manufactured us, didn't create us, he manufactured us out of this term clay, made us. Okay, verse 23, the Almighty cannot find him. He is exalted in power, he will not do violence and justice and abundant righteousness. Therefore men fear him, he does not regard any who are wise of heart, who think they know what they're talking about. Here we go with the problem of our English rendition and with taking things out of context. In my opinion, if I'm wrong, please let me know. Job 38:1. Okay. And Jehovah answered Iob out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkens counsel with words without knowledge? So, by this rendering, most people understand this to be chastising Job for saying things that he didn't know what he was talking about. You've listened to I didn't cover all of it, but you can go back and you can read 3 or more chapters on Elihu, explaining God's role and rule to all these individuals listening. But here, God answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this who darkens counsel with words without knowledge? That's taken to mean, Job, who the heck are you, and you don't know what you're talking about? I take that because don't forget that there's no chapters and no verses. This was all just one long scriptural rendition written on parchment. So we take that to mean he's chastising Job, so he's answering. That's true. Gird up your loins, like a man, I'll ask you, you instruct me. Where were you, the individual who darkens counsel with words without knowledge? Where were you when I laid up the fountain of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who laid its measurements? Who stretched the line upon it? God Almighty now is going to go into a whole chapter on addressing what was just been said by Eliyahu, even though he's answering Job. He doesn't even talk to Eliyahu. He doesn't direct him. He's talking to Job, answering Job. And he says, who is this talking with, like they don't know what, as if they know what they're talking about. Now you, Eliyahu, you guard up your loins like a man. I'll ask you and you instruct me. He went on and on about everything in the physical creation. Continuing on. Where were you when you laid its cornerstone? Verse 7, when the morning stars sang together, the Lucifers, so there's more than one Lucifer, and the sons of God, there's many spirit beings in this first initial spiritual creation, shouted for joy when the physical creation was pieced together or created in the 6 days. So if the spirit beings were all created on day, I guess they could squeeze it in on the beginning of day 4 or somewhere in there, maybe, I don't know. But this Lucifer was right in his own, was sinless at the beginning of his creation. But anyway, the Lucifers sang together, all the sons of God, all the spirit beings, shouted for joy. Who enclosed the sea with doors, bursting forth, it went out from the womb, when I made the cloud its garment, and thick darkness a swaddling band, and I, Jehovah, placed boundaries around it, set up the bolts and doors. Thus far shall you come and no further. Here shall your plowed ways stop. Have you ever in your life commanded the morning? You, Eliyahu, commanded the morning, caused the dawn to know its place, that it might take holes of the earth, and the wicked be